Yes. I was just looking at this moral coercion, exerting extreme pressure upon someone to do or not to do something. Excessive persuasion, then the moral certainty, a conviction or degree of certainty sufficiently strong so to justify a conclusion, such as moral certainty that an accused is guilty, is somewhat less than absolute certainty. Now, this coercion, exerting extreme pressure, yes, excessive persuasion. I'm a little concerned about the coercion in the judiciary to refuse to remove their protection order and their dissolution of marriage. Exactly who was it that decided that you didn't have to enforce the laws of the state of Washington? You didn't have to enforce the domestic violence and dissolution of marriage laws in every state. You didn't have to enforce the requirements of the Violence Against Women's Act, the requirements of the Parental Kidnapping Protection Act. In 2011, I was not a resident of the state of Washington, and there was no actual notice to me, and it seems that the court's coercion is this moral question of, can you issue a court order, and if you do, is it a requirement of law that the respondent has to respond in that they have to motion the court to modify the protection order? Well, it's a big question, isn't it? Do you have to protect the due process rights of the individual before issuing court orders, or can you do whatever the fuck you want and then you expect the individual to motion the court to have your decision changed when the decision didn't involve any of the rights of the respondent? Now, there are the 5 minors named, Judge. Yeah. I was looking at the weather in Port Angeles, and I noticed on the front page of the Peninsula Daily News that there's the names of 3 of my sons that are playing football for Quilcene High School. Yes. There's Zachary Budnick, a sophomore, Bishop Budnick, a freshman, and Deacon Budnick, an 8th grader. Yes. Those same 3 boys are the 3 boys that you said that as a father I have no rights, and that you did not require actual notice to myself to protect their civil rights as students of the Quilcene High School. Now, if you go on the Peninsula Daily News, because I was just looking at what the weather's going to be like today, and it happened to be the back page of Section A. Yes. But there they were, the Quilcene football team, and there's the names of my sons, and it looks like they live in Quilcene. Now, maybe Jefferson County. It's not torture. Is there some moral coercion going on that you arrest me for not violating the protection order, and then as a father I see that they're playing football for a high school in Jefferson County? Now, I'm a little concerned because the last time that I was actually able to speak to them, was in 2011. I just found out that my oldest son is 6'2" and 215 pounds, and he works harder than anybody else in the weight room. It could have been my genetics, I'm not quite sure, but when I, as a father, find out that you decided to use my sons in your newspaper so that they could advertise how good the Quilcene football team is, there could be some mandatory reporters in that high school. Now, the last protection order you issued on July 31st of 2015 that has fraud, it has forgeries, it has violating the penalty of perjury. It has child abduction and kidnapping. It has coercion and it has duress. It has accessory to and after the fact, complicit in and collusion. There could be some grand larceny involved, and still you decided to put them on the fucking front page of the sports. Now, I didn't go looking to find out where they were at. It's public knowledge, isn't it? And you don't want me to speak to my sons because you just cannot justify removing your decision. Now, today, if you're an employee of any school district of the United States, as a father, I'm going to be fucking pissed off. I'm sitting here with no money in my pocket, almost out of tobacco, sleeping on an inflatable air mattress because this